If you're trying to figure out which CLEP exam to take first, I've got some good news and some bad news. The bad news, I don't think there's a single easiest CLEP exam for everybody. The good news, after passing over 30 of these exams myself, I can probably tell you which one is easiest for your specific situation. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which exam to start with. Stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you the 2 exams that are easiest for people starting with a completely blank slate. No prior knowledge needed. I'm Justin from Free-Clep-Prep, and I've personally taken and passed over 30 CLEP exams and 20 plus DSSTs. So when people ask me what's the easiest CLEP, and trust me, I get asked this a lot, I don't like to give them a generic answer because the truth is your background completely changes which exam will feel easy to you. Today I'm going to break this down into 6 specific situations. Find the one that matches you and you'll have your answer. So let's get into it. If you're in high school or just graduated, you've got a huge advantage that most people don't even realize. All that information is still fresh in your brain. You've literally been studying for these exams for years without knowing it. Plus, that brain still works great and isn't all crusty and forgetful like us old folks. For you, I'd recommend either U.S. History 1 or College Composition. U.S. History 1 covers everything up to 1877, the colonial period, Revolutionary War, early Republic, all the way through the Reconstruction. If you paid attention to your American history class, you probably know about 60 to 70% of this material already. A few weeks of targeted review and you're walking in confident. Now, college composition is even more interesting because it's testing skills you've been building for years. Reading comprehension, understanding arguments, basic writing conventions. There's very little memorization needed. It's almost all skill-based. If you were decent at English class, this one could be your golden ticket. Now, if you've been working in any kind of office environment for a few years, and I mean anything from the small business to a corporate job, you should seriously look at the Principles of Management CLEP. Here's why this one flies under the radar. The exam covers things like organizational structure, leadership styles, decision-making processes, employee motivation. Any of that sound familiar? You've been living this stuff. When you read about span of control or delegation principles, you're not learning something new, you're just putting names to things you already understand from experience. You'll read a practice question and probably think, oh, that's literally what my manager does to me, or we deal with this kind of stuff every day in the office. I've heard from so many working adults who passed this exam with minimal study time because they already had the real-world foundation. The exam just requires you to learn the vocabulary and frameworks for what you already know. All right, if you work in IT or you're just a tech geek who builds computers for fun and actually understands how networks work, information systems is your easy button. Now, I have to be honest with you. A lot of people online will tell you this is the easiest CLEP for everybody, and I respectfully disagree. For someone with no tech background, this exam can actually be pretty challenging. Not many people know how RSA works or even what it is, but for someone who already lives in this world, it's a different story. The exam covers hardware, software, databases, spreadsheets, networking, all that kind of stuff. And it's all stuff that you probably already know. You're not learning from scratch. You're just confirming what you already understand and maybe filling in a few gaps. The danger here is overconfidence. Even tech-savvy people should still review the study material because the exam uses specific terminology that might differ from what me and you use day to day. That RSA example is a good one. I didn't know it stood for the folks who actually invented the encryption. Don't skip the prep entirely, just know that you've got a significant head start. Now, if you're someone who's always been good at math, maybe you actually enjoyed algebra class, or you're the type of person that friends come to you whenever you're at a restaurant and you need to split the bill, there is a CLEP that actually plays directly to your strengths, and that is college mathematics. This exam covers the kind of math you'll actually use in real life, like percentages, markups and markdowns, interest rates, basic statistics. There's no calculus or complex proofs, just practical applied math. If numbers come naturally to you, a lot of this content will feel almost too straightforward. You're calculating things like discounts, commission, loan payments, stuff that math-minded people can actually figure out in their heads most of the time. The people who struggle with this exam are like me. We who break into a cold sweat whenever we see a word problem. But if you're the opposite, if you actually like solving practical math problems, this exam plays right into your hands. You'll still want to review the formulas and make sure you know the specific terminology, but the core skills, you probably already have them. This next exam gets a lot of love on people's easiest CLEP lists, but it does come with a catch. Analyzing and interpreting literature is unique because it requires almost zero memorization. You don't need to know any specific books, authors, or time periods. You may need to identify different literary terms, but the list isn't that long and is easily memorized. The vast majority of this exam is reading passages and answering questions about them, right there in the moment. If you're someone who reads for fun, or if you were always good at the reading comprehension sections in school, this could actually be the easiest CLEP for you. It's a skill-based test and not a knowledge-based test. That's also the reason why it isn't just my blanket recommendation for everybody to take it. This is a skill. Some people have serious problems interpreting literature, but that's not a fault any more than my being horrible with math is. And here's the bonus about this exam. Once you pass it, you're actually set up for a lot of the other exams that use the same skills, like the American literature and the English literature. Both of them pull heavily from this CLEP. They just add some specific knowledge requirements. So analyzing and interpreting lit can be your gateway into earning multiple literature credits. Okay, this is the one that most of y'all have been waiting for. What if you don't fit into any of those categories? What if you're starting with a completely blank slate and you just want to know what's the easiest CLEP to study for from zero? Now, two exams stand out to me: Introductory Sociology and Principles of Marketing. Let me tell you why these two are special. Neither one goes into crazy depth. Neither one requires heavy memorization. And honestly, a lot of the content is just common sense with fancy terminology attached. Sociology is basically the study of how people behave in groups in society. You already have intuitions about this stuff. The exam just teaches you the official terms. Things like socialization, norms, deviance. You understand them already. You just need to learn what sociologists call them. Principles of Marketing is similar. It covers the 4 Ps: product, price, place, promotion, and basic concepts about how businesses reach customers. If you ever thought about why a company prices something a certain way, or why ads target specific audiences, you've already been thinking about marketing. After all, it's all around us all day long. Between the two, if I had to pick just one for someone with absolutely no background, Introductory Sociology would probably get my vote. It's consistently rated as one of the most passable CLEPs, the content is relatable, and the Free-Clep-Prep practice tests line up really well with the actual exam format. That's my pick for the true easiest CLEP for most people. So let's recap your options. Recent grads, U.S. History 1 or College Composition. Office workers, Principles of Management. Tech persons, Information Systems. Math wizards, College Mathematics. Strong reader, Analyzing and Interpreting Literature. Or if you're a blank slate, Introductory Sociology or Principles of Marketing. Now, once you pick your exam, you're going to need a game plan. Over at Free-Clep-Prep, we've got free study guides, flashcards, and practice tests for every single one of these exams. The link is in the description. Now that you know which CLEP to start with, you probably want to know how to study for it. Click right here for my complete guide on how to prepare for any CLEP exam. This is the exact same process I use for all of mine. Good luck on your first exam. You've got this. We're cheering for you.